She completed her Masters and PhD in Aerospace Engineering from IISc, Bangalore. She has completed her Executive Diploma in Project Management in collaboration with the George Washington DC University. And she has received the Professor Satish Dhawan Award for Engineers from Government of Karnataka for outstanding achievements. And she is a motivational speaker. Some of her lectures are available in YouTube. And she is also a certified counselor. And she is into the HR department for past 10 years in DRDO. And today's topic is on organizational excellence. So on behalf of all of you here and the faculty and management, I have the pleasure in welcoming Dr. Latha Christie. Please come.
Good afternoon, respected Dr. Josh and Dr. John and Dr. Balan and Dr. Srinivasan and my dear friends, my students. So today I would speak about organizational excellence. So do you know what is excellence? Can anybody tell? So I'm going to speak about organizational excellence, but I'm just asking you a question about what is personal excellence. Excellence is a quality which is something good, which is outstanding, which is reaching your fullest potential, right? People say strive for excellence, not for perfection. Why like that? Perfection is very difficult. Sometimes when you try for perfection, you end up with very much demotivated. But that's why they say, but I would say you try for perfection, on the journey you will end up as excellent. Excellence is you will get when you try for perfection. So excellence is the quality of being something outstanding. All of us have got potential, but all of us have not reached a potential. Potential is untapped power, unused energy, and all of us have got that, but only significant people have reached their fullest potential, or excellent people. There's a fine line between excellence and mediocre. So only whomever has achieved. How will you achieve your full potential? Only when you know your purpose. Why are you here? What's your purpose? What do you believe? What's your value? What's your thinking? What you're motivated to? Because the end value of purpose is potential. And that is the way you can groom yourself towards excellence. So now let's come to what is organizational excellence. What is an organization? A group of people, either anywhere, either it's college like yours, or it's an organization. All of you can become a startup, or all of you, some of you can work for government or for some industries. And what is it? It's an organization towards a particular goal, towards a particular purpose, right? So what is organizational excellence? Organizational excellence is gearing an organization towards achieving its excellence, towards becoming an outstanding organization, towards becoming a best organization. So do you like to be in VIT? So are you proud to be here? So that is the meaning of it. See, you feel that this organization is an excellent organization. So all of you are part of it. It's not that your professors or your chancellors are the people responsible for this. It's also each and every student who can gear this organization towards excellence. This will be useful once you start your startup, or once you do your later any organization become a part. This will be really useful, because many people who are in industry at the end, they will end up as dead loads. They hate to come to office. How much time you spend in work? 8 hours, right? How much time you spend in your house? Remaining time you sleep. So you spend more time at work. So work should become so interesting. You should feel like coming to work. That is the way an excellent organization will work. You will motivate people, because skill is the one what you develop yourself. Will is, and when the skill and will meets, that is the way you achieve your purpose. So now let us see how, if you are a head of an organization, or if you are a dean, or if you are one day leading a big company, How will you motivate everybody towards making your organization excellent? And even in this college, how will you make yourself such a way that you will make this college a best college, where people will look at this college as the best? So is it a destination or it's a journey? What do you feel? It's a journey. Excellence is a journey. It's not something to arrive at. It is a habit. For example, somebody said Picasso. How many of you have heard about Pablo Picasso? Many of you would have heard. His mother once said to him that if you become a monk, end up as a pope. If you become a soldier, end up as a captain or the highest one. So he said, I became a painter, I ended up as Picasso. So whatever you are, you become the best. That should be the motto. That should become your daily habit. For example, Abraham Lincoln said, whatever you are, be a good one, be the best one. So it's not that you have to reach that, that should be the only motive. It should be your habit, making your excellence as a part of your life journey. So this is the introduction to excellence and organizational excellence. So now let's turn to this. For example, how many of you would love to drive a Ferrari? All of us, right? So, but this company doesn't make a particular amount of Ferrari every year. Why like that? They don't go, whatever they increase the manpower, whatever it is, they don't go beyond that, because they want to be a perfectionist. They want to make each and every part of it perfect to the utmost best. So that's why we get the best quality, best product, best in everything. So that's why I'm telling, pursue perfection and you will end up an excellent person. And now today I would like to give only these three concepts. How do you make your organization an excellent organization? Is there any organizational excellent models available in the world, or what are the different models? And I would give you about an excellence model called Baldrige excellence model. So this is the outline of my talk. And so how do you make your organizational excellent? So for this I wanted to give you a little context, a history of it. There was one person called Deming, W. Edwards Deming. He is no more now. In those days, in 50s, 60s, he was in the US and he tried to tell these US companies that you have to make quality a part of your everyday routine. But you know, after post World War II, US was in a booming stage, 50 to 70s, 75s. Whatever they produced, people were buying. So they were producing and people were buying, and they were not into qualities. So he tried to tell them, but he couldn't convince them. So he moved back to Japan. So he started, this is the Deming award later they instituted, but he went to Japan, and later many of the companies like Toyota and others have become so excellent, and seeing that there was a serial, if Japan can, why we can't we? In America, NBC series, you can see that there is a very it's a great documentary. Many people used to watch this one, because Japan has just tried to overtake US in every way in those days. So that's why US people have made this documentary, what made Japan different compared to US. And then they understood quality, processes, everything, that's excellence models. So then again Deming came back, and then President Reagan instituted this Malcolm Baldrige award criteria. Based on that, different companies were given award, who has instituted more quality, who has instituted more excellence in their companies. So that Malcolm Baldrige was a Commerce Secretary, and when he was during his term in the office, he died. That's why he instituted in his name. So this is called Malcolm Baldrige award. It's Edward Deming has given idea to it, and because of which it's called Deming's award. So now based on this Deming's award, this is called Edwin Deming's award, prize award. President Reagan signed this one in 1987, and now it is used by NIST, and it has a scoring point of around 1000. Later Australia also used a similar model in 1988, and it's called Australian Quality Award. And then Europe also instituted, this is called European Quality Award, EFQM. And then again ISO, Domains of Excellence, Six Sigma, many of these things came into picture. But I would just concentrate on only one model, because every model is almost similar. So instead of going into everything, let us try to understand one model and see, if you are the head of an organization, how would you make your organization an excellent organization? So now let us go to this Baldrige framework. So this one, if you see here, and among the organizational profile, you will see a leadership, strategic planning, customer focus, people focus, operation of process focus, results, measurements, analysis, knowledge management. So I have put it like this. These are the key elements that drive outstanding performance. What are the key elements that drive outstanding performance? If someone can ask, you can tell these are the things. Mainly leadership, a company, how the leader is. The most important thing is about leadership, how the leader is able to give the company's vision and mission into the heart and fabric of the organization. How each and every employee or feel motivated to do that, or engaged to do that. That is workforce focus, how the people are feeling so belong to the organization. If I ask you, you are telling, you are proud to be in VIT Vellore, you are telling it, you are proud. That means you belong to it, you feel, you have a sense of belonging, you are engaged to the work which is in it. So that is workforce focus. And customer focus, how the customers feel about your organization, are they happy to look to you? So that is the third. And then again strategy, how the strategy is aligned with vision and mission, and then how this measurements, knowledge management is done. And finally all these things brought together, you will get the results. So now for all these things, marks are given based on this. It's a 1000 points grading scheme. So now we are going to go to one by one all these 6 things, right? And then let's see what are all these 6 components or elements that drive organizational excellence. So now coming to strategy. What is strategy? Have you ever tried strategy in your life? If you want to buy, when you were kids, you want to buy something from outside and your parents don't allow it, you will try some strategies in your mind, right? How to get the things done. So it's like a strategy. So what is a company strategy? Simulate innovation, creativity. Every member, are you innovative? If your organization is allowing you to make patents, if your organization, your professors are helping you to write papers and trying to make you to think in a different way, then you are innovative organization. So how the strategy is aligned with that? How is quality taken care in each and everything? How does the strategy varies as per the changing market trends? And then is the strategy aligned with the mission and vision? Do you believe that you are living in a culture where your grandfather or your great grandfather lived? You are living in a world much different, right? Totally different. The scenarios change, the market trends change, because you now see people are, the young kids, as though they are born up with some computer or laptop, they behave. And people look more into the screen than they look into the eyes. That's why many relationships are breaking down. People don't have close friends. Many people are into depression. Many people don't have anyone to speak to, because they more look into screens than look into eyes. People even try to find love through computers. And the world is going in a very depressing state. But still technology is advancing, and one side it is technology is a power, and the other side you can use it in the right way, it's a power. And if you use it in the wrong way, it is demotivating. So how are you handling the technology? Earlier we were in the agrarian race, where many of us were farmers and others, and we were just playing kabaddi and others on the roads. Now have you seen any kids playing? Everybody are into their WhatsApp, no time, even dinner time is ruled out. People don't have time for their parents or anyone. So we are going in from agrarian age to industrial age to information. Now it's going into dream age, where people are more about hearts than about head. So if you are an organization and if you are an industry, you have to cater to it, right? And for example, if I am a counselor, I have to understand now this children's needs are different. How will I be able? Nobody now has some belief in a higher power, in a supernatural power. If many people don't have, that's why many people end up in depression. No one is there to support them, to help them out. So if we have to decide, now we have to bring back that focus on a power that is higher than us, on a power that loves us. Then how will we do it? In the same way in an organization, how will I change to a digital era, to an information era, to an era which just thinks with our mind, with our eyes? So that is more important. For example, without a clear strategy, it is impossible to align the resources of an organization. What do you have a passion for? What your organization has passion, and what will make you so unique? That's very, very important. Every organization has something, but something you are totally unique. And what drives your economic engine? How does you get money? So now this vision and mission have to be aligned with everything. How do you create values? What are the key processes? How to manage growth? Is the strategy aligned to the mission? How will you control waste? Are you getting my point? So now you make a strategy and you have to align it with the vision, because I make a strategy which is totally different from the vision and mission of my organization, then I will not be able to give my product properly. So my strategy have to be aligned, the vision and mission have to be aligned, everything should be on par. So now I'll give you a case study. This is the thing which I said, that incremental change from agrarian to industrial, from industrial to information, from information now we are almost going into a dream age. So now this a story about two films. It's about a tale of two companies. This normally you might have heard about it. This is a tale of between Kodak and Fujifilm. How many of you have heard of Kodak? Now it's no more. 2012 the company has filed for bankruptcy. In those days, Kodak moments, people were, in my days it was people were after Kodak. It was making the greatest cameras, and they were producing the greatest films. And why it is no more? And the same time Fujifilm from Japan, they are also making films, but still it is there. What is the difference? What made one company to go down and what made the other company to thrive? So this is a thing, if you understand, you will know what is the strategy. That I said that we are in a changing scenario. The market trends are changing. So this one company have aligned itself to the changing market trends. The another company has not aligned itself to the changing market trends. That's the difference. What is the changing market trend? Can you tell me? There are two things. First, it went from digital, what from cameras. Earlier we had the cameras which you can film it and print it and all. Then it went everything into digital. Cameras almost vanished into mobile phones. Then now earlier you were printing pictures. Now you are sharing it everywhere online. So these are the two major changes that happened. So you know, Kodak could have done that. Actually, it was very close to achieving it. The first person who invented the digital camera was a Kodak engineer. His name was Sasson. He went and said to his boss, and they said, "It looks cute, but please don't tell anyone. Just keep it with you." He could not convince people that this is something they can do it. Sometimes we are so adamant to accept changes. We think that what we do is right, but when changes come, how are you going to incorporate? When Sasson said, the Kodak never accepted it. And one more thing, Kodak also acquired a photo sharing site called Ophoto in 2001. It could have used it for sharing, but it sold it just for $25 million when it was getting bankrupt. But at the same time, this Instagram, just the same year, was purchased by Facebook for $1 billion. The same photo sharing site. So why? Because he used this photo sharing site for printing digital images. He did not use for the right purpose. So we should know our strategy properly, how it is changing, how the scenarios are changing, and adapt to it. That's very, very important. You know, Kodak, what went wrong? It did not adapt. It had the myopia problem. You know, sometimes we are all blind to our own credits. Kodak was so much becoming rich and rich every day. So it became blind. It had myopia. And that's why it failed to change. That growth was not managed well. Whereas the same time, what happened to Fujifilm? It adapted. The same digital revolution, because of it, it created Fujitac. That same films, what it was using for this one, cameras, it used for LCD panels for TVs, computers and smart phones. And also it diversified. It joined with Xerox and made Fuji Xerox and others. So it diversified. So now I come to the second point in strategy. What business are we in today? The important thing is you should know what are you doing, and do you think that changing scenario as a threat or as an opportunity? The changing scenarios can be looked up as threats. It can also be looked as opportunities. You are able to get more opportunity for your company. So what new opportunities do these changing scenarios open up? What capabilities do we need to realize these opportunities? How can I remove the old one? How can I make new equipments? How can I purchase something new to adapt to the changing scenario? How can I how can I train my employees to adapt to the changing scenario? So all these things, it's very, very important, and everything should start with, do you know, all of us think, if I ask you why are you here, you might tell that I am studying in Vellore because I wanted to become, I have to get good marks, that's why I am here, I am listening. But a significant and intelligent and excellent person will tell why he is here. Why he is here in Vellore, VIT Vellore, because he wants to become an engineer. He wants to go to somewhere else study, and he wants to start up a great company which can change, do something for the nation, which can do something for the world. So you should know why are you here. So many, normally this is given by Simon Sinek. He says that everybody, a mediocre person, if you ask what are you doing, he will start with what, how, and then he will think why. But a significant and excellent person will start always with why. Why I am doing, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why I am here in this place first of all? Then everything, then it will come how, and then what. So that is the difference. Why I believe what I believe. If I know why I believe what I believe, I will associate with people of similar beliefs. Why do they believe? If I associate with people of similar beliefs, they trust me. If I have a company, I believe what I believe, I will have people around and I will make them to trust me, and there will be a good trust environment. People will be ready to take risks. People will be ready to go forward because they all believe the same thing. They all have the same values. They all have the same risk-taking behaviors because they all know why they were there. So the most important thing is everybody should know why they are doing what they are doing. That is the most important thing in strategy. Then only you can strategize, then you can frame visions, then you can frame missions. So you know the strategy is also linked to passion. Why? Why you are doing it? Why are you studying? You could have studied medicine. You could have studied some commerce or some other things. Why are you studying engineering? What is the passion? You know this when Dr. Martin Luther King, he was trying to go to Washington Mall. He was trying to demonstrate the difference, why the black should not be treated so badly. You know, 25% of the people were whites, and they never sent up WhatsApp They never gave any other like emails or whatever it is. But 250,000 people showed up in Washington Mall. Why? They all believed what he believed. They all showed up for their cause, not for Martin Luther King's sake. For their own sake, they all showed up. And he spoke. One day, I have a dream that one day this nation will stand up to its creed. I have a dream that one day the sons of the slaves and the sons of the slave owners will sit in the same table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will not be judged for the colors, but for the content of their character. Not for the color of their skin, but for the content of their character. So he had a dream. He did not go around and tell, you do this, I have a plan, do this, do that. I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. So people who believed what he believed, they all joined together. And nobody need to tell them, everybody showed up. That is the power in an organization. No need to go, the leader need not go and tell to the employee. Everybody will be motivated towards a single common goal, single common purpose. And they will all keep doing. No need for anybody, because they are all motivated. They all believe the same. They all have the same belief. They all have trust one another. They all have the same purpose. So they all not do for the leader's sake. They all do for their own sake. That is the power. That is the way you have to motivate your organization. And one more very important thing is passion. Have you heard about this Samuel Pierpont Langley? When you discovered this, when the first flight aircraft was designed, people were all wondering, they wanted to get the first aircraft. So US has invested around $50,000 to a person called Samuel Pierpont Langley. So he had all the minds of Harvard and Princeton and all these intellectual people were working with him. And he had the War Department monies, there is no problem. People, there is no problem. Everything he had. But 100 miles away in Ohio, there are 2 boys, Orville and Wilbur Wright. They did not have any money. They did not have any people to work for them. They were just college dropouts. They had just a bicycle shop. Then how they did it? Because they had the passion. They wanted to do what they do. They had only the passion. And sometimes they will just go and try to fly and they will break down. And again they will make, and again they'll fly, and they again go. And sometimes his father was so scared, he used to tell, go one by one, otherwise I might lose sometimes both of you. But they were not even married. Their only passion is to somehow make this mission work. And finally in 1903, in December, during Christmas time, they took the flight and no one was there to observe it. But this man, Samuel Pierpont Langley, he did not encourage them. He just vanished from the scene because he did not have the passion. If he would have had the passion, he would have worked for it, right? That was the thing that is the reason I'm telling strategy and passion are more important. The second, leadership. Leadership is so important. How many of you can tell leadership is important or not? You might think you are not a leader, but a leader is without a title. Even a housewife is a leader. You are a leader if you have in a cricket team, you tell the others how to go ahead and you help them out. If somebody is falling down, you go and help them out, you become a leader. And you just guide someone towards the truth, you become a leader. Leader is not only the person who holds the highest authority. Leader is the person who lifts the other person, who just does something so that others, there will be a followers. A leader needs followers. And the people follow not for the leader's sake, but for their own sake. Right? Unless you have a position, people will get scared of your position and follow. But if you are a real leader, people will follow you for their own sake. That is the true power of a leader. Because that is a non-coercive influence. A leader motivates the others to achieve the goal without any coercion. They want to do because they are all motivated. And that is the power of influence. That's the power of inspiration. And people, I was talking about hierarchy. In defense, we have hierarchies. In many of the companies, we have hierarchies. And we get scared to talk to our seniors. And if you get scared to talk to your seniors, they were doing some experiment. two groups. One group, they were all scared, they had lot of hierarchies and they were all scared to talk to their seniors. And the other group, they were so easily flowing around. So this ideas, this people, if it is bad, the other people will not send it up because they will be punished. This group, they were sending all the ideas to the top hierarchies. So finally when they checked up at the end, the group where there was the easily people didn't feel like threatened and they went on giving the ideas to the seniors, their group got lot of great ideas. They could patent more compared to the others. That is the power of how without any hierarchy you can just love one another, trust one another and work for one another. And you know, if you have a departmental store, you have a brother and a sister and one person is sitting in the cash counter, the other person is sitting the other. Do you feel that this person is senior compared to the other? Both work so that departmental store you will get more money, right? That is the way it works in an organization. It is not about hierarchy. There is, this person is Dwight Eisenhower. He is the 34th President of the United States and also he was a 5-star general during World War II. You know, he once called all his soldiers and he put on the table like this a wire, a rod, and he just kept it, wound it like this and he then asked them, push it. They pushed it. So now he was asking which direction it will go. It can go to this side or can go this side or it can go this side, right, if I push it. But he then took one side of the rod and then the rod was following him. That is the way. If you push people to do what you want and push them till the end, you will not know which direction they are going. But if you lead them, if they will follow, how will you lead? Leadership is not about power. Leadership is making others to do the right thing by influence, by love, by trust. That is the power of leadership. That is the servant leadership. That is the way how you give it off to one another. And the motivation, have you heard of Maslow's hierarchy? Needs, it's a needs. Everybody's basic need is food, shelter, clothing, right? So beyond that, what next is security needs. I want to be protected. I need a home. I need nobody should encroach my territory. And then the social needs, companion, someone to love, someone to talk to, someone to speak to. Then esteem needs, I need recognition. Then reaching the potential. So if a company can give, if an organization, you are here and if you feel belong to it, inclusive inside this, and you feel that I'm so happy to be here because I'm contributing something and that your teachers believe that they are contributing something to the students, and because of them so many students are able to come up and they feel so happy, they feel that recognition, they are recognized for what they are doing, they are feeling responsible to their work. That is the way your needs are met. You are happy to come to a place, you are satisfied. What is job satisfaction? When you feel that you are responsible and you are recognized and you are reached your highest and fullest potential. So now leadership, some people say you cannot be an autocrat leader, some people say you should be a democrat leader, one more leadership is called laissez-faire, that is they don't even bother. But I would say there is each leadership is needed for different context. It's called situational leadership style. Based on the people, for example, I have in my company some people who are so motivated, they don't have skill. In some people who are not at all motivated, they don't have skill also. Some people who are motivated and they have skill. I need different leadership style for different people. You have lecturers and professors. Some students are so motivated, some students have intelligence. They need a different way of treatment. Some students need a different way. So that is the leadership style. So for example, it's called directing, a direction by the leader which needs less support. So low competence and low motivation. And then coaching, supporting. I'll go to this next slide. You can see here, there are 4 types. Telling, if a person needs a low motivation and they are not able to go ahead, for example, because of competence, their skill is less, at that time I should tell them. I should direct them. But if they have low competence but high motivation, I can coach them, not tell them, but I can coach them or sell. Or if they have high competence and low motivation, they need support, they need to be with them. And if they have everything, high motivation and high competence, just I can delegate the work and I can be free as a leader. I can develop some more leaders. So that is the way: delegating, participating, selling, all these leadership styles are part of the leadership. So now there is no, some people you have to pull, some people you have to push, right? So the boss can tell, sell and consult and join. So it's called autocratic, democratic, consultative and participative. So every leadership style, so you cannot say in those days there were trait theories, only few people are leaders because they were masculine, they were just having the power, they were having the strength, so they are leaders. Leaders are made or born, they are not made, they say. But now the leadership theories are totally different. Everybody can be a leader, and the leadership need not be an autocrat or democrat or anything. He can have different styles at different times. A professor can use a different style for different people. A student can use a different time when he is dealing with somebody else. So now this Maxwell, John Maxwell, he has developed a beautiful leadership style. It's called 5 levels of leadership. You know, when everybody joins, they will be at the position level. Why? For example, now I am associate director, means people follow me just because of my position. They have to follow, it's not they want to follow, right? And you have a professor or you have a dean, you have to follow. It's not that want to follow first. When you look at them, after some time they just develop some relationship with you and you feel like, oh, this is a real boss, this is a person whom I want to work for. Then they come to the next level, permission. People follow you because you are giving them permission that they want to follow, not because they have to follow. They want to be in your team, they want to make you a leader. Every time they want to work for you. That is the permission level. You give them permission. So you grow from position to permission. And then again production. You go to the level where you go down and show them how to go ahead. Might be, for example, when you first come to the lab, your professors will show you how this equipments will work, how this has to be done, right? So that is the production level. For example, I read about Bob Davids. He was in China. He had only 8 people to work under him. And now he has a big company of 8,000. How it developed? It's a construction company. And first time when he went, he saw some men, they were in a trench. They were trying to work out something. He is from US and he went there and he was staying in a hotel and he doesn't know the Chinese language, and he saw them, they were doing something wrong. So if he doesn't tell them right now, the whole structure will go bad. He cannot speak in Chinese. What he did, he just he got down from his car, removed his shoe, dress, coat, everything, and then he got down into the trench. He worked with them in the rain, muddy waters, and then he got up, put his dress and went on. They did not know that he was the CEO. Next day they came to the office and they find this man as their CEO. So that is the way they started respecting him. You go down along with any level with your employee, you will stand for your people. So people will know, okay, now I will also produce because my boss is doing, I will do it. That is the production level. And then come to the people development. Now you stop doing yourself, you make your subordinates do for others. You develop leaders. Leaders should not stop with becoming a leaders only. They have to develop leaders. Many of us sometimes, we don't develop leaders at all. We become a leader and we want to stay as leaders. It is always the best practice to make our subordinate as leaders, to empower them, to teach them leadership, how they can lead someone, how you went and taught them. They have to go and teach someone else. In college, might be if your professors have taught you. My son, when he was in medical college, he always used to teach some people, always before his exam. I used to ask him, how will you have time to study? He says that, Mummy, when I teach them, everything is becoming more clear than I study, right? So sometimes when you help others, when you teach others, when you guide others, you become more powerful. So that is the people development. Then comes the pinnacle. So that leadership even transcends the organization. It goes beyond. You are a charismatic leader, you are a transformational leader. You make people to do things even beyond your own limits. People can do this much, but because you are a leader, they are able to do much beyond. You know, Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs, and many other people are credited as such leaders who makes people to do beyond their levels because they are inspirational. They give that much influence. Why someone said that it is so beautiful to work with Steve Jobs because he was so inspirational. When someone brought to him this, when the initial iPod was made, laptop, so they brought to him and said, it is so beautiful. He said, not from the outside, it should be so beautiful from the inside. When I look at it, I should get tears. They asked him, outside it looks so good. But he said when he was young, when his father asked him to paint the house, he went on painting the house, and after some time he came and told his dad, Dad, I have painted. His father went and asked, and he saw every outside of the house is painted. So he asked him, why didn't you paint inside? Dad, who is going to look at the inside of the house? He said, you and me will look at it, right? Quality is so important. Process, each and everything, so that inside it should be beautiful. So that is the way Steve Jobs made, and Apple now is one of the best companies, right? And like Kodak, it was also about to go into bankruptcy. But Microsoft, Bill Gates came and Steve Jobs came and took up this company which was about to go into bankruptcy and made it a history out of it. So leaders who inspire followers to transcend their own self-interest for the good of the organization, they are transformational leaders. Such leaders transform the society, transform people to go beyond their level. They focus on the potential relationship between the leaders and the followers. So engage the full person of the follower. So now many of us think leadership and management is same. Leadership and management is not same. Leadership is establishing how to do it. Management, whatever they say alone you do it. That is management. Management is doing everyday course. Leadership is strategizing, visioning and giving the direction. And you know, leaders go to the front, even if it is, you can see here snakes are there, bears are there, but the leader go in the front. It mainly happens in military. In military we give rewards to people who sacrifice themselves for others. But if you see in organization, we give awards to people who sacrifice others for their sake. That is the difference. Many times it happens. But I would like to give you an example. This Captain Will Swenson, he was in the Afghan war. These people, he was one of the advisor to the Afghan board, and they were going, they got into a serious ambush. He called them up and he said to his headquarters, send artilleries, but they said no, civilians will be affected, we cannot send. So he saw they were under fresh ambush, people were firing at them. So you know, 5 American soldiers lost their lives in that particular thing. So at that time, one of his close friends, a Sergeant Westbrook, someone shot him in his throat. So he was bleeding profusely. So he took him, he ran there, he took him, he got a medevac helicopter, and that's why they have taken this video, because from the helicopter somebody had a camera in their helmet and they had taken this video. And he ran and just put him back in the helicopter, you know. Before he turned back, he just bent down, looked into his eyes, kissed him, and then patted him, and then again he ran in search of the other 4 people into the ambush. So that's why later in 2015 August, when they gave him a Medal of Honor, they just found out this video, and after 4 years in that video they saw the beautiful way his friend anyhow has died after that, but the way how leaders treat their followers, how leaders treat, they give their life. He ran into the field to bring some more people. That's what military is about. Why they do? Because they all believe the same thing. They all have love. They all trust one another. If my boss is there, I won't get into problem. If my leader is there, he will protect me. Is that the way are you leading your followers? Then you will be a leader where the world is in need of such leaders. You know, it has become so selfish motivated now. World is in need of such leaders. And the most powerful kind of leadership is to offer people pathways and permissions to do things they want to do, but they are unable to do themselves. I am not able to do, but because of my leader, because of his pushing, because of his support, I am able to transcend my limit and do something great. I am transformed. That is the transformational leadership. This is about Steve Jobs, which I said that he was an inspirational leader. And next we saw about strategy, we saw about leadership, next about people. People are the most important thing. If you are students, you are the most important assets of this organization. Henry Ford said, you take away my factories, burn up my buildings, but give my people back. I will build it again. So that is the importance of people, how you are developing people. So does the worker, why I asked you, do you feel proud to be here? Every person who are in the organization should feel pride to be there. Do the people care about what they do? How is the company's vision communicated to the downmost? For example, I have a lathe operator. If I go and ask him, why are you doing what you are doing? He say, I'm just working for this particular drawing. Or he might say, I'm working for this turbine which goes inside that particular helicopter or particular missile and or a particular radar, whichever is working for the national safety. So I'm working for the nation. If a lathe operator can associate his work to that of nation, how will he work? He will work to his maximum potential, right? That is excellence. So the employees, sometimes employees are not empowered in many of the organizations. Employees should be empowered, they engaged, crap. Sometimes many of the people are into politics, relationship problems and all these addictions, and all these people, sometimes the people, some of the few people bring poison into the whole organization. How are you able to purge such people out? And most important thing is the right people should be recognized and rewarded, not the selfish ones, not the ones who take others' credit. So that is very, very important in an organization. And now what is the fifth force? All of you would have known about 4 forces, the fundamental forces. What are the 4 fundamental forces? The force of gravity, the strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force. So all these things, what is the 5th force? That is the human force. It's an invisible force, but that drives everything. EQ is more important than IQ, people say. Emotional quotient is more important. Many of the failures, whatever happens, it happens because we haven't taken care of this 5th force. That is we have 2 minds. One is logical thinking, the other is emotional. Many times when you see many of the challenger, recently Kalpana Chawla died, right? But you go and see why that challenger failed. That it was a human problem involved. It's not they are supposed to delay it because of some problem, but they didn't delay because some other human emotional factor was involved. So every failure you see, this 5th force, the human factor is involved. That's very, very important. How will you manage this? How will you manage this invisible force? This Korean Airlines, people were trying to see, a lot of Korean Airlines were crashing. So they were wondering, what is it? Might be the Korean Airlines, they didn't make it fabricated properly, some material problems or some other problems. Finally they understood it's a human problem. You know, they have the highest hierarchy in Korean country. What happens is, they have this, junior cannot speak to the seniors. They are so scared of seniors. So in a pilot, it's mainly the pilot's problem. The co-pilot, he is not able to give his information to the senior pilot because he is scared to pass on. And because of this communication problems, many times this problems have happened, and many of this Korean Airlines crash was attributed to this pilot hierarchies. So making the invisible force visible. How will you solve this invisible force? That's very, very important. That's a team force. So now You have to make people included, belong to, and remove this invisible force. People should be open. People should be able to share their feelings, share their thoughts. That logical mind and the emotional mind, both should be given equal importance. So now people engagement. You can make a climate survey of your organization. Climate survey means you just ask questionnaires from all the people and try to see how they feel. And you can, or if somebody is resigning or going out of your organization, get some questionnaires from them. Try to get exit interviews and try to understand whether they are satisfied, whether they are committed, whether they are proud, whether they are positively talking about once they leave the organization, or they positively talking about it, or is there any fundamental problems. So if there are any fundamental problems, how will you deal with that? These are all very, very important things. So then again, there are different levels of intellects in people. Some know what, they only know what is they are doing. Know how, some people have the skills and they know how to do it. Some people know why, that's very, very important. As I said, why, how and what, the golden circle. And then some people are highly motivated, they care for one another, they know why they are doing, they also care for what they are doing. They are so much dedicated to work, they care for their work, they want that work to come up, they want their company to come up. So now people development, you can either focus on your weakness or you can focus on your strength. Which is better? Strength, right? Sometimes we always think what is the gap in their skills and try to fill it. But instead of trying to see what is the skill which you are lacking, try to see what is the skill they have. Many times we put the person who is skilled in something into some other work and skilled in something into some other work. But actually if you can exactly groom each person and right person you put for the right job, you will be able to see your company's growth booming up. Because we normally, everywhere this happens, the right person is not put for the right job. We put the wrong person in the wrong place and then wonder why he is not able to contribute. What is his, why he is not able to do it? Because he is not tuned for this work. So area of opportunity, area of strength, and accountability. Any times our projects get, the deadlines are delayed, right? Deadline should be kept as deadline because nobody is accountable. Many times deadlines get passed because accountability is not there. What is accountability? Accountability, if I ask, it's a very beautiful story. This is a story about 4 people, everybody, somebody, anybody and nobody. There was an important job to be done and everybody was asked to do it. Everybody was sure somebody would do it and anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry because it was everybody's job and it was not done. Everybody knew that anybody could have done it, but nobody realized that somebody wouldn't do it. And everybody blamed somebody because nobody actually asked anybody. So this is a real thing that happens every time. Because we think we don't make people accountable for what they do. We just think that it is everybody's responsibility. But unless you make people accountable for it, you will not be able to do. And again, it's teamwork. Teamwork is like this, you are in mechanical department, how it's important, all the small fittings, screws and nuts have to be joined together. That is the way a team can perform. Conflict has to be resolved at the right way and people should be able to speak freely and ask questions, right? And that way you can maximize the team performance. And so focus on learning, focus on results. If you work collaboratively and use timely relevant information, so it's all about teamwork. So many people will be working on different things and they will all join together and do it. Now we have seen first is what? Strategy, then leadership, third is people focus, right? So what are the other things? Customer focus, processes and knowledge management. So these are the 6 points for an excellent organization. We are still into people because people are the most important assets of an organization. So here if you make a team, there are 4. How many of you have heard about team building? Forming, you have heard? Forming, storming, norming, performing. First the teams, for example, you wanted to work for some lab, 4 or 5 people your professor have joined together, and then after some time, initially when you join, okay, for this particular purpose, each of you will have different values. There will be initially some storming among you to adjust one another, right? So that has to be when it is solved, when that conflicts are resolved, because each one has different personality traits. Have you used this personality? Each one, some people are dominating, some people are supporting, some people are inspirational, some people are very mild. So because of which initially when the teams are put together, they have storming. But when the conflicts are resolved properly, they'll start performing. They'll work together, then they will start performing. That is the way a team will be done. And in a teamwork, I always feel we should appreciate one another. Many times we don't do it. This Mary Kay Ash, she is one of a billionaire. She used to say that when you look at someone, always believe they have a board on their forehead. Make me feel important. Make me feel important. If someone whom you look at, they tell you like that, make me feel important, you will say, yes, you are so important. What you have done to me is so good. You look so good. You look so beautiful. What you are having is very good. So that way you can make other people feel important. So being connected, how they feel connected? Because they feel belong to an organization. They feel inclusive. They serve one another. And also they have a purpose. I said without a purpose, the greatest tragedy in life is not death. It's a life without a purpose. Somebody said, I really believe that, because unless you have a purpose, it's impossible to achieve. And this is about a story, Gung Ho. You go and get this book and you can read. Lady was transferred to an organization as a leader, which organization was not functioning. So she was asked to do it, and she went around that. For example, you have mechanical department, electronics department, so many things like that. That organization has many things. But at only one point, the outside, the production unit where they bill it and send, that was a very functional unit of that organization. She went to that person. He was his name was Andy, and he asked him, how did you do that? If you can teach me the secret, I will make all the other units to do it. So he took her into the forest, and then he showed 3 things. One is the law of the squirrel. The squirrels always carry something in their mouth and go and bring it back, because in the winter they have to collect their items for food, right? So they have a goal, and nobody need to tell the other person what to do, what not to do. Everybody are motivated towards one particular goal. So they are all working for the goal like that of squirrel. They are carrying in their mouth and coming and filling. They are carrying in their mouth. And second, he took him to a beaver. They all know they were trying to make a beaver out this thing near a dam. So they all were collecting some leaves and trying to right way they are putting to make that nest. So each one, no need to tell the other person where to put or how to put. Everybody knew how to put it. So everybody's work is defined. Everybody is made accountable for their work. So that is the law of the beaver. Then he went and showed the goose. They were all the time chirping and sounding. When they were flying, they were making sounds. When they were in the water, they were making sounds. He said, like this you appreciate one another. I said last time, Mary Kay Ash said, look at someone, they should think, you should know that they are asking you to make them feel important. How can you make someone feel important? By appreciating. So that is the law of the goose. So if you do all these things, your company will come up. So that is the secret behind this story's name is Gung Ho. So the last one is organization culture. Culture is very, very important. When a person from outside comes to your organization, how does he look at your organization? How is the culture? Is it positive or negative? People are happy to work here, or people are talking about backbiting about one another, about the other person. So that determines the culture. What you see, culture, purpose, vision, values, beliefs, what every member believes. Sometimes we assume wrongly about somebody else. Many times the wrong assumption happens, and the structures and this culture is very, very important to get results. Any company which has a good culture will always get the results. Any company with a bad culture will never get results. The culture is the most important thing. You know, Southwest Airlines boss, he's Herb Heller. He had only few airlines initially, but he worked towards making a beautiful culture. How he worked towards making a beautiful culture, you know? He said, I will just, he said that he made a beautiful culture by working with the employees, by working with the customers. He once in a month, he became a employee and he worked, how the employees worked he was seeing, and it was the cheapest airline. So now it has become one of the famous airlines. There is no hierarchy. People can go and sit anywhere. It was totally different. So, and you know, one time, one lady was, son got a terrific accident. So even the airlines rerouted their route to send that lady to her son who was in coma. So that way they took care of their customers so much. So that is the culture. He built a culture, and also a good culture will never allow the people to fail. For example, people are scared of their boss. In a good culture, in a company with a good culture, they will never get scared of their boss. They will never fear failure. Failures, people think in our set, when a person fails an examination, they think that they are not fit. When a person doesn't do in their work, they think that they are useless. But actually, you should treat failure like a scientist. Failures are all data points, right? It is all data points. Thomas Alva Edison perfected his light bulb in 10,000 times. He said, I haven't failed. I have just found out 9,999 times how it works differently. So failure is not failure. You know, many times people get scared of failure. For example, this impala, one antelope, it can jump to 30 feet and then it can jump to a height of 10 feet. But a mere 3-foot wall will keep so many impalas this side, because it will never jump if it does not know where its feet will land. That is the fear of failure. That fear of failure in an organization comes and stops creativity, stops many of the other initiatives, because they are scared what the boss will think. What if I fail? What if I fail? No problem, you fail. Failures are the end of success. So this is that Thomas Alva Edison said that I have found so many different ways to work, and this failure creates ingenuity, creativity. Michelangelo's beautiful paintings, he was creative, and he could his sculptures were called as captives. When he took a stone, he could see the image through it, and he just chipped out the outside images so that the images beautifully came out through the stones. So it looked as though it were remaining captive. When he removed the outside things, it came out beautifully. So now think differently. Many times we don't think in a different way. We think stereotype, the same manner. We don't challenge the status quo. That is the problem. See, this one a girl was sitting and begging, and she has written that I don't have food and please someone give me food, but I am blind, please help me. And somebody came and turned the thing in a different way, and in her hat so much of money was collected. So she went and asked, what did you write? That person said, you have written, I am blind, so please help me. But I have written, it's a beautiful day, you can see it, but I will not be able to see it. So that is the difference. Everything in you approach in a different way, in a creative way, it works. And next comes the processes. We saw leadership, we saw strategy, we saw people focus. Now we come to processes. Processes are very, very, very important. You know, China Airlines flight 120, when it was going from Taiwan to a Japanese island called Okinawa, it landed and it suddenly burst into huge flames. 157 people and a crew were at once evacuated. Luckily no one died. But there was a great fire and the whole flight could not be saved. But when they found what was the problem behind it, that was because of a little washer. You know, this washer has to be tightened to the nut. But when they were doing that assembly, they have forgotten this washer. The person who was doing, the processes were not properly documented. That's what quality comes into picture. So what happened is, because of that, the whole downstop position at full it got extended, and it went and hit the fuel tank and made a little small hole. The fuel started leaking, and when it landed, because of the sudden pressure, it just suddenly exploded. You know, a little washer, they didn't put a little washer. So that's very, very important of processes and qualities. Everywhere it happens. Even in Hubble, when the Hubble Space Telescope was launched, it launched with a very huge budget, $1.2 billion. And you know, that mirror was given to some other company to fit it. And when they sent it, everybody were waiting. It will send beautiful arrays of images of some galaxies. But it didn't send anything. It sent only blurry images. Everybody started speaking about NASA. And the scientists who were working for that project, even many of the scientists were taken to alcohol addiction centers. Some scientists resigned because they were so much humiliated. But finally they found it's because of the mirror. There was again a human factor involved in this. But again NASA launched a repair mission. The setback was turned into a comeback. What happened, you know? They sent 5 space scientists. They walked for 7 days, and they changed the big mirrors images by small mirrors they have put and adjusted, and now, even now, Hubble is sending beautiful arrays of images, breathtakingly beautiful, of very far residing galaxies. So that's why processes, products and services are very, very important. How they are designed, how they are managed, how they can be improved, how innovation can be incorporated into the processes, and how they are managed and enhanced are very, very, very important. So there is a efficiency difference between efficiency and effectiveness. You know, how are we converting our inputs? How are we achieving desired outputs? One is efficiency and one is effectiveness. So the process is responsible. If how are we converting our inputs to the correct output, and how are we achieving the desired output, the effective output. So one is doing the wrong things right, and one is doing the right things right. So both are very, very important. And last comes knowledge management. You know, many of you would have done projects, right? If you don't save it in your college, and next time if somebody wants to repeat it, it is not available. And some of you, when you are doing this work, you would have failed. If you don't document the failure, the next person will again do the same mistake. So how important is knowledge management? It's very, very important. More than the successes, failures should be documented. So knowledge management, and sometimes in many of the organizations, what they do, they don't share with the another person because they feel threatened. They feel their intellect will be taken out. That's why we don't share with our friends. But many times I have seen knowledge sharing improves your own thing and the organization's productivity. So knowledge management and knowledge sharing are very, very, very important. It's everybody are in a continuous learning and relearning modes. So knowledge management is very, very important. Wisdom is derived. Wisdom is the output of all these knowledges. So now we have finished. Leadership is given 120 marks, and strategic planning is given 85, and customer focus 85, this knowledge management 90, workforce focus 85, operation of processes 85, and results finally 450. So this is the way that Baldrige criteria gives awards, and different companies are compared with one another using these points. So now, how can you foster if you are an organizational head? Okay, the difference sometimes, what is the difference we make in our lifetime? From the start of our birth to our death. So are we making some difference in our lifetime? Are we changing some part of history? Or we just come and go? That's very, very important. How many people have got benefited by you? How many achievements? What do you mean by achievement? What do you mean by excellence? If the society is not benefited, if some other person is not benefited, there is no achievement, there is no excellence. That's why I say the difference we make in our lifetime is very, very important. Thank you. Any questions? Okay. See, actually I joined, for me I have been navigating through many of this field. I finished in 87 as an electronics and communication engineer with honors, and then I did my PhD and masters in Indian Institute of Science in aerospace engineering. That was, aerospace is closely related to your mechanical engineering. So I have to sit with IIT mechanical students, but I loved that field because I studied missile guidance and aerospace vehicles and rocket engineering. I loved it. So whatever you love, you will do it, right? And then afterwards, now I am associate director and I am also the director HR. So what happens is, you need people management. Many times, many of the projects fail because I was initially, when I became a project leader at a young age, I started, whenever people do mistake, I'll blame them. Then one day my director called me and he said, if you want to be a leader, you have to take every blame on you. You cannot blame even if somebody does wrong. The final mistake is yours. You should be able to own up every mistake, and you should be able to give reward for the people if they do good. Reward should belong to them, blame should belong to you. That is the way a leader works. But then I understood there are so many changes you have to do. You cannot be a selfish person. You have to work for, if you want people to follow you, you cannot be selfish. If you want people to become leaders, you have to develop leaders. And if you want to achieve something, you have to motivate someone. So that's totally different. So unless if you want to be a project director or if you want to work for a goal, you should be a leader and everybody should be a leader. That's what I understood and this becomes so interesting for me now. So that's why I train scientists on this subject. Thank you.